Hello and welcome. Today, we re-diving into one of the most significant developments in international politics. A historic move by European leaders and Ukraine to create a mechanism aimed at compensating Ukraine for the massive destruction caused by Russia's invasion in February 2022. For nearly 4 years, Ukraine has faced unimaginable destruction. Cities flattened, homes destroyed, schools and hospitals ruined, and millions displaced. Now, European leaders are not just talking about supporting Ukraine militarily, they are planning a system to hold Russia financially accountable. We'll break down what's happening, why it's historic, how it could work, and the huge debates surrounding it. This isn't just a news story. It's a potential blueprint for how the world handles war damage in the 21st century. So, what just happened? On December 16, 2025, leaders from Ukraine and over 30 countries gathered in The Hague to formally launch the International Claims Commission. This body is designed to organize and assess compensation claims for Ukraine due to Russia's ongoing invasion. President Volodymyr Zelensky emphasized that Russia must be held responsible for the crime of aggression and the destruction it has caused. The commission will work with the Register of Damage for Ukraine, which has already collected more than 80,000 claims from individuals, businesses, and local governments. These claims cover everything from destroyed homes and businesses to farms, schools, hospitals, and public infrastructure, mounting to tens of billions of dollars in damage. Why does this compensation matter so much? Historically, war reparations are often negotiated after conflicts end, sometimes decades later. Just think of post-World War I and II payments. They were complex, contested, and incredibly slow. What makes this effort so different is that the commission is being built while the war is still ongoing. That's unprecedented. Leaders are essentially saying justice and accountability cannot wait for peace. The reasoning is straightforward. War destroys lives and livelihoods, and compensation can provide immediate financial support for reconstruction. Plus, holding aggressors accountable establishes a powerful international legal precedent. The Commission is designed to assess, validate, and organize these claims, creating a solid legal foundation for reparations. The only catch: doesn't yet have a funding mechanism. So, how will this commission actually work? The International Claims Commission is intended to be 3 things. First, independent and internationally recognized, so it's not just a Ukrainian body. Second, it will be legal and procedural, ensuring claims are valid, verified, and quantified. And third, it will be scalable, capable of handling tens of thousands of claims from all across Ukraine. The Commission is basically the next step after the Register of Damage. While the register just collects the data, the Commission evaluates the claims, determines who is eligible, and prepares the legal documentation for eventual payouts. It's a critical bridge between destruction and justice, turning raw claims into actionable reparations frameworks. Now for the big question: where could the money come from? 2 major proposals are being discussed. The first is using frozen Russian assets. Since the start of the war, EU countries have frozen about 210 billion euros in Russian sovereign assets. These funds include cash and government bonds held in European banks. Using these frozen assets could provide collateral for loans to Ukraine now, or directly fund compensation once all the legal mechanisms are approved. Russia, however, calls such plans illegal theft and has filed lawsuits against institutions holding the funds. The second idea is a reparations loan plan. Under this plan, Europe would loan money to Ukraine now, backed by those frozen assets. If Russia is eventually held liable, it would then have to repay the loan. This has some advantages. It provides immediate support for Ukraine, while respecting the legal ownership of the assets for now. But it's politically sensitive and requires broad agreement across all EU countries. This brings us to the legal and geopolitical challenges. Frozen assets are technically still owned by Russia, even if sanctions make them inaccessible. Under international law, sovereign assets enjoy immunity from seizure. This means a unilateral confiscation could trigger a major legal and diplomatic backlash. Russia has already warned of retaliation and filed lawsuits seeking billions in damages. EU officials argue that the reparations loan approach is legally sound because ownership isn't transferred, and Ukraine still gets support now. But countries like Belgium have raised concerns over potential liabilities. This makes the debate both a legal and a strategic one: how to help Ukraine without creating a brand new international dispute. So, why is all of this so historic? Never before has a continent-wide effort been made to systematically quantify and organize reparations claims while a war is still going on. The scale is enormous, with hundreds of billions of dollars in potential claims. It signals a new era of accountability, where aggressors may face financial consequences in real time. As President Zelensky said, "Justice must not wait for peace." Reactions from leaders show the complexity of the situation. President Zelensky strongly supports the commission, calling it a major step toward global accountability. EU officials have stressed that countries that start wars must be prepared to pay for the damages. But critics are concerned about the legal risks, potential political disagreements, and the possibility of retaliation from Russia. This really shows the delicate balance at play here, where legal, political, and financial considerations all converge in one historic effort. The broader implications are huge. First, this could set an international precedent, shaping how war reparations are handled for decades to come. Second, it demonstrates how frozen assets can be used as financial leverage in diplomacy. Third, compensation frameworks could become bargaining tools, affecting the structure of eventual peace negotiations. And finally, it reinforces the principle that nations may face consequences for aggression, even while a conflict continues. This isn't just about money. It's about justice, law, and shaping future international norms. To sum up, European leaders in Ukraine have launched the International Claims Commission. This body will assess claims, organize legal procedures, and prepare for future payouts. The funding could come from frozen Russian assets or from reparations loans, but each option has its own legal and political challenges. This initiative is historic because it merges law, finance, and diplomacy to hold aggressors accountable in real time. Nothing here is guaranteed, but what's truly remarkable is the ambition and scale of this plan. It could reshape how the world handles war compensation for generations. What do you think? Should aggressors be forced to pay for war damage while a conflict is ongoing? Or are the legal and political risks just too high? Comment below. We want to hear your thoughts. Like and subscribe if you want more explained videos on major global developments. And stay informed on the stories shaping our world.